So this lure is the newest in the Predator series of Livingston lures, and it is actually a Jerkmaster 254 is what the bait is called. But some of you may have heard it as Slash Who. It's kind of a goofy name, but that's been another name for this bait we've actually used on TV. So just in case you get confused using this prototype lure while filming some shows, it's been called the Slash Who, but it's technically the Jerkmaster 254. It is essentially a larger version of a very successful bass and walleye lure that already existed in the Livingston line. I caught so many walleyes, bass, northern pikes, variety of species that I literally just said, hey, this lure is so good and so effective that we just need to upsize it for muskie and bigger pike. So essentially what you've got here, and it's interesting between the bass crowd, I guess, and the muskie crowd, is that technically we would call this a crankbait as a muskie guy because it has a lip. The bass guys would call this a jerk bait. Any of these baits that they twitch, they generally call jerk bait. In this case, I definitely agree with the bass guys because this lip is a little bit smaller. You still get a nice wobble, but overall this bait is most effective as a jerk bait. What's very unique about it, besides the EBS sounds, is that the neutral buoyancy of it well, it's perfect. It literally hangs totally neutral with barely afloat, but you would grow old trying to watch this lure rise up 6 inches. So what you get is way more travel side to side with this bait than you would ever expect out of a stick bait like this. It's almost like essentially like a glider jerk bait lure that most muskie guys are familiar with. You can literally walk the dog with it, but obviously it's a little bit more erratic than actually a sweep. But the big key here is that hang. Variety of different twitches, which I'll show you out on the water, but let that bait snap, get tremendous side to side. Do it in different cadences, but at least 2 or 3 times on the retrieve you want to let that lure hang still, literally sit still for a couple of seconds, and that's where most of the strikes occur. What you'll want to do when you get out on the water yourself is just see how the action that you're imparting through your rod and rod tip into this lure is making it dart best, but you're definitely wanting to go for that erratic action. So just a variety of, you're using your rod in conjunction with the reel handle. So I'm kind of going fast on 1 revolution, basically a half revolution on a jerk, and pausing. And if you, now I can see that as that lure's coming in, I'm getting that wild dart side to side. And then the other thing I really emphasize a lot, and I want to again, is just the pause part of it. The fact that this lure is so noisy, it's actually got rattles in it, which is part of the action that makes that lure dart so wide. So that provides a little bit of extra sound as well. And then you've also got the EBS technology, the electronic bait fish sounds. So it's a very noisy lure. It's got very erratic action. And the way it hangs neutrally on a pause, it just kind of sits there like this. So I would say twice during the retrieve, let it get that nasty side-to-side action and just literally let it sit for a second or 2 on a pause like that. Just pick up the slack. Don't take the lure out of its travel motion. You really want to watch, especially when you do those extended pauses, because you'll either have a fish hit coming towards you, you may see slack go in your line, but generally it feels like they pulled your shoulder right out of the socket. They normally really hit this thing hard.